Debate number 2 is about the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who's admitted that he never had any evidence to back his unsubstantiated allegations linking India and its diplomats to Khalistani extremist Hardeep Singh Nijjar's killing. Now, India stands vindicated. The Ministry of External Affairs has reiterated that Canada has presented no evidence whatsoever in support of the serious allegations. India also has slammed Canadian government's cavalier behavior and held it solely responsible for worsening ties between the two countries. But there are some leaders in the opposition who seem to be towing the Canadian Prime Minister's line. Former Punjab Chief Minister and Congress MP Charanjit Singh Channi, instead of condemning the Canadian Prime Minister, went ahead and gave him an element of cover fire. He says it is true that agencies are behind the rise of gangsters. What's more shocking is that there's no word of condemnation on what Channi's remarks were, either from the Congress party or from the India bloc.
Their asks of us was, well, how much do you know? Give us the evidence you have on this. And our response was, and at that point it was primarily intelligence, not hard evidentiary proof.
Yesterday, again, after the public inquiry, public hearing, we had again issued a statement saying that Canada has leveled serious allegations but has so far not given any evidence to back it up. PM Trudeau's own admission yesterday would indicate the value as regards our stance on the allegations.
ਸਾਡੇ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈ ਹਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ। ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰ ਫਿਰ ਪੈਦਾ ਕੌਣ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ? ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਏਜੰਸੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਇਨਵੋਲਵਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ। ਇੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮੂਸੇਵਾਲ ਦਾ ਕਤਲ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਰਾਜਨੀਤਿਕ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਥੋੜੇ ਦਿਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਹੋਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਜਾਏਗੀ।
दुनिया के अंदर हमारी इज्जत में कमी आती है। हम इंटरनेशनल फोरम पर आतंकवादियों के खिलाफ, आतंक के खिलाफ हमेशा आवाज उठाते हैं।
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for the first time told Parliament that he has no tangible evidence but intelligence reports that Nijjar was assassinated by Indian agents. However, Indian federal probe agencies which have been probing listed terrorists and their associations with proscribed terror organizations have submitted hard, undeniable proof in courts to show how these gangsters based in Canada have been using illicit money operations to generate funds to carry out their terror activities. Before we show you exclusive NIA chargesheet documents, let's first listen in to MEA spokesperson who said that the details of 26 K terrorists have been given to Canada and their extradition is still pending.
There are 26 extradition requests pending with the Canadian side. These are over the last decade or more. Along with it, there are several provisional arrest requests which are also pending with the Canadian side of several criminals. Some of the notable ones who've been charged with terror and related crimes, I would like to name them. They are Gurjeet Singh, Gurjinder Singh, Gurpreet Singh, Lakhbir Singh Landa and Harshdeep Singh Gill.
And now we'll be showing you excerpts of NIA chargesheets filed in courts on various occasions. These documents will show you some of the K terrorists who are based in Canada and are carrying out criminal activities in collusion with pro-Khalistan groups and gangsters in India and abroad. The first is of Gaganpreet Singh Kalia, who's a Canada-based member of KLF. There's Sunny of Toronto, Sunny Toronto rather, who's a member of the KLF as well. We also have details of NIA chargesheet of the K menace, and in fact, let's take a look at what's been said. It's been revealed that during the investigation to increase their area of influence, members of terrorist gangs came in contact with extremists, particularly with associates of pro-Khalistan organizations in Indian jails and abroad. With the help of associates of pro-Khalistan supporters, they get sophisticated weapons, and during investigations, been established that members of syndicate or gang are in touch with Ashdallah, accused one, a designated individual terrorist associated with Hardeep Singh Nijjar, also a designated individual terrorist and chief of the Khalistan Tiger Force, a proscribed terrorist organization. And the syndicate have been assisting A1 in collection of funds for Khalistan cause. Let's quickly go across to Priyank, who's breaking this big story. Priyank, very, very significant that details of Ashdallah and others, 26 others that we broke yesterday, was the information that was not just given in terms of dossiers to Canada, but these are part of the judicial process here in India, where there's been a thorough investigation and the proof has been submitted before a court of law by the Indian agency, the NIA.
Yes, Channi, Madhav, it's a fight in between the intelligence input which Mr. Trudeau has been talking about and the investigation detailed by the National Investigating Agency. This agency here in India has an ambit of probing the cases not only on Indian soil but also cases which are originating from the foreign soil. And in time and again, the agency officials have gone abroad and they have probed this case, based on which they had a list of 23 individuals, which has also been spoken about today in the press conference at the Ministry of External Affairs, that many a times 23 designated terrorist data has been given to the Canadian Security Agency, but they have not done anything regarding this. But does Mr. Trudeau also have similar kind of probe detail which has been submitted before the court there in Canada? The answer is no. What he is talking about, the intelligence input which has been gathered,
very stark contrasting picture there that's emerging, Priyank, and that's really, of course, at the end of the day, the most important aspect of it, just on the basis of a hunch, on the basis of some intelligence, as opposed to incontrovertible evidence. That's the difference between the approach of India and Canada, and that's very clearly underlined over here in the form of the documents that you've just shared with us. Thanks so much for bringing us that exclusive story. Let's quickly take this across to our guest now.
Watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Shazia Almi and Kamruzaman Chaudhary join us from debate number 1, but with us from at the moment are Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow of IPCS. Kapil Madan is an advocate joining us. Kapil Madan, look at the difference in approach. India has actually conducted inquiries. You're a lawyer yourself. You know the evidentiary value of documents such as charge sheets that are given in a court of law. And look at the approach of Trudeau. He's going on the basis of intelligence hunches, which are not in any way conclusive evidence by his own admission. Yet, you have someone like Mr. Charanjit Singh Channi coming out virtually speaking the language of Justin Trudeau. Why is that the case, sir?
So, Madhav, I think, there is a contradiction in, the entire debate that we are having. Now, the premise of the debate is that there are certain elements who are harboring, khalistan and, the propaganda that they have. Now, there are two situations here. If we are proceeding on a premise that, yes, there are certain elements who are proclaiming or siding with these people who are have this kind of khalistani or secessionist tendencies. So in that situation there is some problem in Canada that we are all agreeing. Now, if you are saying that there is nothing like that in so far as what Mr. Trudeau has said on his in one of the interview, that his statement was on the basis of the intelligence. So in that situation, you are given clean sheet to Canada, that there is nothing happening in Canada. There are no people who are harboring these kind of.
How are we doing that?
No, I am not doing that. I'm asking you.
What are you saying, Kapil Madan?
So if you are saying that what Mr. Trudeau has said, that India was not behind the killing of that person called Niger. In that situation, are you also giving or admitting this fact that there are no people who are in Canada who are who have this secessionist tendencies, or they are working for this
I don't even understand the logic you're saying. We are saying that the charge sheet very clearly mentions how he's been helping. The Arshdeep Dalla has helped Khalistan terrorists. The 26 others whose information has been given. There is of course the possibility of gang war over there. We don't know who's conducted it conclusively, either this way or that, Kapil Madan. The point is, why is Mr. Charanjit Singh Channi talking the language that he's talking? Simple question.
No, Madhav, I think there is a contradiction in the premise of your debate. At one instance, you are accusing Canada to harbor these kind of people. And in the same breath, you say, no, India has got nothing to do with whatever has happened at Niger. And therefore, what
do you think that India has done what it has done? Now, what is being accused of? Kapil Madan, are you saying India has carried out these killings? Are you not talking the language of Mr. Trudeau?
No, I am sorry. I have not said that.
What are you saying then? Because you are the one who is now contradicting yourself on national television.
No. So all I am saying here is that, the government should come, they should make an elaborate, statement. And if Trudeau is wrong, the government of India should take Trudeau to International Court of Justice. why is Trudeau allowed to make this kind of an incident?
Abhijit Iyer Mitra, since you are perhaps more familiar with matters pertaining diplomacy, I certainly have not understood what Kapil's logic is here today. He normally comes with fairly reasonable arguments. Today, I'm just not getting it, because the simple question that we are asking is, why is Mr. Channi at this point of time making these kind of statements when the government of India and largely opposition parties, including his own Congress party and the CPM and others, have said take us into confidence, which is perhaps a fair expectation, unlike what Mr. Channi has said today. And of course, now Kapil Madan saying that expose them and take them to the International Court of Justice.
On what grounds, Madhav? First of all, I didn't understand what is the logic he was trying to drive at. But what exactly, are you going to sue people in the ICJ for defamation? Are you serious? Is this even a serious argument to be making? Defamation doesn't come under the International Court of Justice. I'm really appalled at this gentleman's knowledge, not to mention the complete lack of any logic out here. But let me talk to why Mr. Channi does this. Remember, Sidhu Moosewala was killed within 2 months of Mr. Channi demitting office. Mr. Channi's tenure in office saw some of the highest crime rates Punjab has known since the end of insurgency. He turned a blind eye to the drug mafia. He turned a blind eye to the gun running. All these gangs were going amok under his rule. And ultimately what happened under the current chief minister, which was Sidhu Moosewala's killing, was directly the command responsibility of Mr. Channi himself. Now, he is a bit like Justin Trudeau, never takes responsibility for anything, wants to externalize something onto everybody else. Therefore, it wasn't, Goldie Brar who admits to killing this man, part of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. No, it wasn't that. Conspiracy theory. It is some aliens came from outer space and got into Modi. Koi bhoot pret aake Modi ko possess kar liya, aur us bhoot pret ne fir jaake told somebody and they went and killed this thing, political angle somewhat or the other. Look,
let me bring in Kamru Zaman on that as well, because I hope Kamru Zaman Chaudhary...
Of a failed chief minister. Remember how he was wiped out in the elections. Of a failed chief minister trying to protect him.
Absolutely. Let me bring in Kamru Zaman now. Kamru Zaman, I hope certainly you're not going to take the kind of line that Kapil Madan took, because at the end of the day, remember this, that you have a former chief minister talking about how India should, of course there are Indians there, but should India just allow this kind of insult on top of injury, the kind of statements that have been repeatedly coming in from the Canadian Prime Minister without even an iota of evidence to back the claim, number one. And number two, as a congressman yourself and as a congressman Mr. Channi is, what I find particularly disturbing is that when the Khalistan terrorists take out a float which depicts the assassination of Indira Gandhi, every Indian, whether they're congressmen or not, and particularly congressmen for sure, should be outraged. How is it that you're glorifying the killing of an Indian Prime Minister? If that is the case, why is Mr. Channi coming out and making this kind of a statement? Is absolutely mind-boggling, Kamru Zaman.
Yeah, Madhav, I can only vouch for what my party thinks and what statements they have been giving out. I will not go and comment on one particular individual, what he thinks and feels about the entire episode with Canada or with Lawrence Bishnoi or Sidhu Moosewala issues. But the fact remains, I need to congratulate tonight our BJP government here for their measured response to Canada, so that the Canada takes a lesson from the response so far that we have been able to give them, and they do not take India lightly. But here there are very important questions that are being arised, and as an opposition from space, I need to ask those questions, Madhav, tonight. What exactly are we gaining out of this diplomatic fallout? Was there any harakiri committed by the Ministry of External Affairs in dealing with the entire issue from day one till date? Whether we are ready for the economic consequences of antagonizing the Western world. Take it, for example, the Canada having very good relations with the US or the UK and the European countries. Are we ready for that? What will be the impact on the diaspora that is there? The student community that has gone out there to make a career out of themselves. What are the geopolitical repercussions? And what hindrance to the strategic interest of India? These are some questions that need to be answered today or tomorrow. But the most important thing, Madhav, we as an opposition, we have seen how Indira Gandhi and Vajpayee Ji collaborated together to give a measured foreign policy, united initiatives to the outside world when India was in a crisis. But today Narendra Modi is organizing the meeting of their NDA chief ministers without even inviting a simple one phone call to all the opposition leaders. Please come. India is on a very big diplomatic crisis.
I think it's okay. I think
let us take a
alliances are allowed to have meetings of their chief ministers. Let's not bring in now federalism into what is a very different international debate. You've asked some questions relating to diplomacy. I want Shazia to respond to that. Shazia, have we looked at the full cost that this will involve for us diplomatically, economically, and on other counts? Is a simple question that Kamruzaman Chaudhary is asking today. Please respond to him.
First of all, Mr. Kamruzaman should know that the whole world knows that Trudeau was caught bluffing, and that has brought great disrepute to him and his country and the way it runs its business. Secondly, we understand why Aam Aadmi Party and Congress are so beholden to the separatist element. We know it was Aam Aadmi Party in power when Sidhu Moosewala was killed because the security was given away. And by Charanjit Channi and Rashid Alvi have to now talk about the world and what this means for India. And I want to tell Kamruzaman Ji also that you can behave like one, answer to your colonial lords. This new India believes in speaking for itself and standing with pride and calling out a bully and a liar, which is exactly what is done. Trudeau has been made so much fun of internationally. He doesn't know where to hide, and he's got egg on his face. He had no concrete evidence whatsoever based on some Chinese whisper, and I'm not even punning, trust me, but some random intel he heard somewhere. He was bringing our country and bringing such terrible allegations, pinning them on our country, and now the whole world knows the truth. So we stand vindicated. But I'm afraid, I'm so sad to see the Congress clowns still speaking for the white man and still saying, what will they think of us? We don't care about what they think of us. We know what we think of ourselves, which is we will not be bullied and we will not allow any kind of secessionism on our soil. We are not with the secessionists.
Well, India has taken a very tough position. India has taken a measured position. Kamruzaman Chaudhary perhaps has taken also a very measured position today, complimenting the government. He's asked some questions, but the larger question is this. When it comes to issues pertaining to the national interest, national security and national pride, if there are unfounded allegations coming in from across the border, whichever it may be the country, is it not our duty all as citizens and different political parties to stand together and united as a nation? We just leave you with that thought, particularly given the kind of statements that have come in from Trudeau, which have just exposed his own position that he has taken over the past year or so. Thanks so much to all of you, Shazia Ilmi as well as Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Kamruzaman Chaudhary and Kapil Madan for joining us this evening.